This is Genesis chapter 18, verse 20. And the Lord said, because the cry of Sodom and Gomorrah is great, and their sin is very grievous, I will go down now and see whether they have done altogether according to the cry of it, which is come unto me, and if not, I will know. I want to give all praises, all honor, and all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash, for allowing me to do another lesson. Yahweh is who the word ignorantly calls God. Yahweh Shai is his son, who the word ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, and there's no God beside him. I want to give double honors to the elder apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone for being faithful witnesses to the Holy Spirit, and shalom to the elect, whom the Most have given ears to hear. And this lesson is going to be entitled, Will All Hell Break Loose After Pride Month? As you see, it goes into the video the brother Arya Kayal did, entitled, Will All Hell Break Loose in July? And if you've been watching, brother's been doing various lessons on military, on military takeover in the coming months. As you have, in 28 cities? Supposedly in 28 cities, you have heavy military presence. You see different Black Hawks, choppers, and in the skies, and tanks rolling throughout the streets, MRAPs. So it's coming. All right, so let me play this a little bit, and then we're going to get into the lesson.
U.S. currency will no longer be the reserve currency of the world. Put a law in place back in 2008. They snuck it in a big, 10,000 page bill where the banks could seize the depositors' and creditors' deposits. So people are asking me what's going on with the U.S. dollar. I'm sure most of you are aware by now. If you're not, go ahead and let you in on it. The dollar's going away. The U.S. currency will no longer be the reserve currency of the world. We will put in what's called a CBDC, which is a programmable digital currency. They've been working on that for several years. Another name for it is Biden bucks, some people are calling it. So cash is going away. And if you've not been made aware up till now, if you've not seen any news reports, because the media is mainly blacking this out, so you don't really know what's going on. But all the leaders around the world are telling everyone to dump the dollar, and their citizens are following suit. So what that's going to do is just destroy the value of our currency. It will go to basically zero, just like Venezuela. If you want to see what's going to happen here, look at what happened to Venezuela when its dollar collapsed or its currency collapsed. That's exactly what's coming here. So everyone needs to be aware of this. They also, in another component, put a law in place back in 2008. They snuck it in a big, 10,000 page bill where the banks could seize the depositors' and creditors' deposits, and there's no guarantee or even law that says they have to give it back. So this is already happening in other countries around the world. Banks are being burnt to the ground, and the media has a complete blackout on it. So that's how it's something they don't want you knowing about. They want you to be unaware of what's coming. So here's what I'll give you a timeline, okay? In July, they will roll out what's called the FedNow system. Now that is basically a payment processing system similar to PayPal or something like that. So from now on, right after that, they'll implement the digital currency. They'll crash the dollar, and then they'll let chaos reign for a few months. I don't know, a few weeks, few months, who knows? I can't tell you exactly how long it'll take, but they need rioting to go on. They need stores to be empty, which that'll only take 3 days after the dollar collapses. You're going to need to have 3 months of food, water, necessary supplies, because stores will empty out very quickly. Think back to when the COVID scam was going on and how fast people rushed and emptied out stores. Okay, well, now just imagine money getting cut off. You have no access. The banks are closed. They will not reopen during this. There's no ATMs that will work. You're just out of cash. There'll be looting. There'll be rioting. It's going to be crazy for a little bit. And they need that. They need that chaos going on so they can force you into the digital dollar system, okay? The programmable digital currency. Now, that's horrible for a lot of reasons. One, they can tell you where you can spend your money, when you can spend it, how much you can spend. They can penalize and take money straight out of your bank account if they don't like what you're saying or doing on social media, or if they tell you to do something like take more shots and you refuse. So if they want to give you more shots and you refuse, they can just shut off your money. Just turn it off like a light switch. There's nothing you can do about it. I mean, you guys have no clue. Well, a lot of people, let me say that. A lot of people have no clue what this means and how much control they're going to have over everything you do or say. It's going to be bad. However, it's probably gone too far to stop at this point. I've been telling people this for a couple of years now. Other people have been trying to tell people and wake people up. It's not worked. Everybody's asleep. Everybody's focused on, what the mainstream media is talking about on any given day, all these crises they keep creating to distract your attention on what's going on here. So it is what it is at this point. Once the FedNow system goes in place in July, it's going to go full online in July, okay? Once that happens, at some point between now and the end of the year, they are going to crash everything. It'll be the worst crash in human history. However, it's going to take phases for them to completely crash it, okay? So the first thing they got to do is put the FedNow system in place. Then they have to put the digital currency in place. That'll happen after, I don't know, a month, 2 months of chaos going on, rioting, all that kind of stuff. When people are just literally at their wits' end, then the government will come out and say, okay, we figured out a way to let things go back to normal. We're going to implement this digital currency system. It's much more stable than the fiat currency. And if you want to get some of your money back that was seized by the banks, the evil banks, and they're all in on it together, you guys got to start waking up to the fact that all of this stuff, governments, banks, everything is owned on the planet by 13 families. They hide behind the scenes. They use shell corporations, things of that nature. Double up. Okay, they fund both sides. They're profiting.
All right, so that's he's pretty much saying what we've always been saying, for those who have listened. All right, he's pretty much saying what we've always been saying. Which again, when you want, I say watch the brother's video, Aria Kayol. Lord willing, if I remember, I'll put it in the description of this video. Also, the brother GMS KC Living Waters, as he was going into let me see, you might plan in the beginning. Okay.
So in yesterday's video I made about the military mobilizing and all the military action going on in the country. So I asked everybody to put in comments if you've seen something going on in your town, so we can kind of see if maybe it's just a certain area, maybe it's a training exercise, maybe it's not a big deal, So these are the places that people commented that said they had something going on in their area. I have a hard time believing that this is just a training exercise in all these areas. It's quite a large list. Seems like a large list to me. I don't know. Maybe you won't think it's so large. Maybe somebody with military experience on here will be able to comment and say, hey, nope, that's normal. I find it unusual. Here's the list. San Diego, Michigan, Bakersfield, California, South Jersey, St. Louis, North Dakota, Philly, New York City, Yosemite, California, Idaho Falls, Vermont, Illinois, Indiana. There's a lot going on in Canada, supposedly, also, from people commenting. LA, San Fran, Ohio, Utah, Jacksonville, Florida, New Mexico, Boston, Massachusetts, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Chicago, Illinois, Colorado, Kansas City, Missouri, New Orleans, Virginia, Miami, Florida. Several people from from Florida commenting. All these people mentioning they have some kind of this. What you saw behind me a little bit ago was actually in Mexico. Large military presence in Mexico, which you never know with the cartels. That could just be from the cartels. It's hard to say. But when you see helicopters like this flying through the air, I mean, I don't know. I'm not a military guy. It seems like I counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. 28 places I named that have military presence, military activity. That seems like a lot for a training exercise, people. I had a lot of comments saying it's just a training exercise. Stop fear-mongering. It's a lot of places where they're having training exercise.
Right. So, it's almost like an occupation that's brewing up, which an occupation comes by way of chaos. Chaos is, as we mentioned, is going to come by way of, that the forced implementation of that CBDC. All right. And right now, this is the month of June, Pride Month. And despite all of these things happening, all right, which the second video I play, you see, it's not just because you might just say, well, maybe people don't know. No, the people know. First and foremost, we out there all the time. All right. We doing lessons constantly. Brothers on TikTok. All right. On alternative social media, as well as a mainstream social media. And then, as the guy said, people are actually seeing these things in their personal cities. All right. But, for the majority of the people that still sleep, they still scoff. Hey, we, as well as brothers, brothers don't really get too many interactions with the people. But something that stood out to me is 2 weeks ago, we had two demons. One telling brothers to, suck my, what. And then another Fallout Boy came back to try to defend himself through the spirit. But that along with I seen a brother out there. That was the brother Manata Zagba. I didn't watch his video, but in lieu of my point, this is what the people are doing nowadays.
Yeah, man, Lord gonna destroy Babylon's great. Alright? In every situation you see, or many situations, you see the righteous and the wicked. There's a separation among them. The Lord gonna get rid of the wicked. He's gonna save his righteous. He's gonna save his elect.
You see, and there's no coincidence as the elder is talking about the separation between the righteous and the wicked, between the prudent and the slothful, between those that love righteousness, those that love wisdom, and those that are foolish. You have a numbskull, all right, show himself to be just that in the midst of the prophets, and when you go into the deciding factor, as the Spirit had brought this out to me in camp the other day, when you go into the deciding factor of the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah, that cry was displayed through their acts towards the prophets, right? Through the people's acts towards the prophets, and the angels of the Lord. What's the angels of the Lord? We're angels of the Lord. All right? Angel means messenger. Right? So when you jump over to Genesis chapter 19, and at this point, this is when the angels, they came into Sodom to let Lot know to depart physically from that place because he was about to destroy it. All right, so this is Genesis chapter 19. Verse 5. I'll start at the top. And there came two angels to Sodom at even, and Lot sat in the gate of Sodom. And Lot, seeing them, rose up to meet them, and he bowed himself with his face toward the ground. And he said, Behold, now, my lords, turn in, I pray you, into your servant's house, and tarry all night, and wash your feet. And ye shall rise up early, and go on your ways. And they said, Nay, but we will abide in the street all night. He pressed upon them greatly, and they turned in unto him, and entered into his house. And he made them a feast, and did bake unleavened bread, and they did eat. But before they lay down, the men of the city, even the men of Sodom, compassed the house round about, both old and young, all the people from every quarter. And they called unto Lot and said unto him, Where are the men which came into thee this night? Bring them out unto us that we may know them. Once you go into the scriptures, all right, it's basically going into, well, let's grab it in NLT, because I'm pretty sure it's going to reveal it. Right? They said to Lot, Where are the men which came to spend the night with you? Bring them out to us so we can have sex with them. So Lot stepped outside to talk to them, shutting the door behind him. Please, my brothers, he begged, don't do such a wicked thing. Look, I have 2 virgin daughters. Let me bring them out to you, and you can do with them as you wish. But please leave these men alone, for they are my guests and are under my protection. Stand back, they shouted. This fellow came to town as an outsider, and now he's acting like our judge. We'll treat you far worse than those other men. And they lunged toward Lot to break down the door. All right. As it says in Corinthians, burned in their lust, one towards another. You know, they wanted to defile Lot and the men with him. But the 2 angels reached out, pulled Lot into the house, and bolted the door. All right. Spiritual powers. And they blinded all the men, young and old, who were at the door of the house, so they gave up trying to get inside. Meanwhile, the angels questioned Lot, Do you have any other relatives here in the city? They asked, Get them out of this place, your sons-in-laws, sons, daughters, or anyone else. For we are about to destroy this city completely. The outcry against this place is so great, it has reached Yahweh, and he have sent us to destroy it. Right? So it's fitting, which I'm not saying that is happening next month, but very, very, very soon. You know, and this could possibly be the straw that broke the camel's back. All right? Right after Pride Month. You know, because what does the scripture say in Proverbs 16? Proverbs 16:5, the Lord detests the proud, they will surely be punished. Right, let's go to Isaiah chapter 3, verse 9. The very look on their faces give them away. They display their sin like the people of Sodom, and they don't even try to hide it. They are doomed. They have brought destruction upon themselves. Tell the godly that all will be well for them. They will enjoy the rich reward they have earned. But the wicked are doomed, for they will get exactly what they deserve. All right?
Hey, add me on Snapchat, King Austin 1000. You a rapper? Okay. King Austin 1000. If you want to say something, go ahead.
Y'all add me on Snap. Marquis 6, MARQUIES, number 6.
Okay. Alright, then. Hey, y'all repent, man. Y'all Israelites, man. Well, too late. Repent. King Austin, Marquis, y'all got to repent, man. Lord gonna destroy Babylon the Great. Alright, then. Amos 9, verse 8. You saw the Israelites getting butchered up. The wicked Israelites getting killed. Then he said he fell upon his face, which means he prayed. And he said, Lord, are you going to destroy all the residue of Israel? He said, you're going to kill all the Israelites? Look at Jake. Look at Jake. Here we is preaching the gospel. This nigga doing the gritty. See what I'm saying? That's why the Lord going to destroy his ass to the nitty gritty.
Yep. You know, and hey, they have rewarded evil unto themselves. Let's look up that word cry as a matter of fact. Let's go back to you know, because everybody think it's a game until it's not. All right, let's go into that word cry. You know, with Sodom and Gomorrah, it was renowned, of course, for the homosexual acts, but for all manners of fornication. All right, all equaling up to pride. All right, and which all got them destroyed. Sorry, let me see. Hey, when you watch that movie, Terminator 2 Judgment Day, and you had Sarah Connor who had the dream, you know, in her dream, she was literally screaming to the kids and the parents in the park to wake up, because what did she see behind them? She saw that nuclear missile, that besom of destruction. And these people got a lot that the Lord is going to drag them through before they even get to the nuclear missiles. That's just going to be the icing on the cake. All right, so that word cry is taza shaku. Let me see. Was it taza kwa? Tazak. To cry, cry out, call, cry for help. To clamor. To be summoned. Let me see. Call together. All right. Cry of distress, especially as heard by God. All right. So this place is in distress. The people are bugged out. The earth is mourning. You know, as you know, I mentioned, there's no coincidence, as the brother speaking of the the acts of the wicked, as we always see, you know, when brothers speak through the Spirit, the Most High brings examples. You know, the Most High brings examples. Now, let's grab this. 2nd Ezra chapter 8. Verses, start at 50. Let's see, we're going to start. (8 and 50). For many great miseries shall be done to them that in a latter time shall dwell in the world, because they have walked in great pride. But understand thou for thyself, and seek out the glory for such as be like thee. All right. That's why we say shalom to the elect. Or, you know, I like to say shalom to the elect whom the Most High have given ears to hear. For the rest of these other people, these 2/3, they're going to be, the Most High is going to destroy them. You know, and I'm not talking about in a fast way either. All right. Just imagine in these times to come, man, just the smell of rotten flesh, cooked flesh, people cooking their animals, their dogs, their babies. You know, women going crazy because the baby crying, and this is constantly crying and crying and crying until it can't cry no more. All right. That's going to send these people crazy, man. These women. For unto you is but understand thou for thyself, and seek out the glory for such as be like thee. For unto you is paradise open, the tree of life is planted, the time to come is prepared, plenteous is made ready, a city is builded, and rest is allowed, yea, perfect goodness and wisdom. And it's heavy because the elect is going to be happy in these times because they see what it really represents. All right. The coming of everlasting peace, Yahweh Shai. But for 2/3, you know, they see the end of their world, whereas we see the beginning of ours. The root of evil is sealed up from you. Weakness in the mouth is hid from you, and corruption is fled into hell to be forgotten. Sorrows are past, and the end is shewed the treasury of immortality, the treasures of immortality. And therefore ask thou no more questions concerning the multitude of them that perish. In other words, fuck them. For when they had taken liberty, they yet despised the Most High, thought scorn of his law, and forsook his way. His ways was his ways was put out there by his prophets. All right. The prophets protest the word, which means to stand before. All right. Pro meaning for, and test meaning testify. Moreover, they have trodden down the righteous and said in their heart that there is no God, yea, and that knowing they must die. All right. And you see the scriptures as the scriptures say in Hebrews 4, that is sharper than any two-edged sword. Because you might say, when did they say that? Well, their actions tell us what they say in their heart and their minds. For as the things aforesaid shall receive you, so thirst and pain are prepared for them. For it was not his will that men should come to naught, but they which be created have defiled the name of him that made them, and were unthankful unto him which prepared the life for them. It is not to tell us in 2 Peter 3, it was the 2 Timothy 3, that in the last days perilous times shall come. And when you read through, it speaks about people who are unthankful, unholy. All right, everything is a goddamn joke. Here it is, brothers. You have men, which I still see it every so often. Certain people, they blasting music, they come by and they turn it down because they see brothers reading the Bible. But for the most part, people turn up and they follow when they see brothers on camera reading the Bible. All right, as I mentioned, 2 weeks ago, you had a demon tell us this, that's crazy. You telling other men to suck your rod, but that's the spirit these people are in. But they which we created have defiled the name of him that made them, and were unthankful unto him which prepared life for them. Not really understanding that your last warning is us. And therefore is my judgment now at hand. All right, so we're going to keep going out there into the foolishness of preaching. All right, to save those which already really were meant to make it. And to be a testimony to those that really is not meant to make it. All right, the way you act towards us is the way you act towards Yahweh Shai. Whereas Yahweh Shai says, they that heareth you, heareth me. And they that despise you, despiseth me. All right. So, the only thing now left for them is judgment. So with that, shalom to the elect.